Aloha, everyone. I'm Michael. I'm out here on the big island of Hawaii, and my wife has got this Nord Electro 4 HP, and the G above middle C stopped working on it, and I had a hard time figuring out how to fix it, but I figured it out, and I figured I would just explain it to you. I didn't videotape the process of doing it because I didn't even know if I'd be able to do it, but I did learn a couple of things that I thought maybe some of you might be interested in. So for those of you that don't need any hand holding like I do, I'm just going to explain it to you right now, and then at the end I'm going to give you some more information for those of you that would be comforted by some extra information. So here's the keyboard here. This is actually a much easier repair than I watched a video on the Nord Electro 3 with the organ action, and that one is far more complicated. This is the I guess I call it the hammer action, but the HP, as you can see. So I'm just going to jump into telling you exactly how to do it. Basically what you're trying to do is replace this this contact strip right here that's underneath the keys. So the first thing that you'll do is take out this one unique screw. It's the only one that really looks like it. It's this big one over here. You take that one screw out. That's the first thing that you do. All of these other screws here are what's holding the keyboard assembly onto this base, and you don't need to take any of those out. Just this one. And the next thing that you'll do, you can see on the side here, there are 6 screws. You only need to take this one out, and then you need to loosen this back one on the bottom. Just loosen it 5 or 6 turns loose and you're good. All of these other ones here, you can leave them alone. Then on the back of the keyboard, there are all of these screws here. You got to take these out. You don't have to worry about these down here, just these on the red. Take all those out. Once you've done that, this is going to lift up like the hood of a car. It's just going to tilt up. And because you didn't take this screw out over here, it's not going to fall off. Now, I watched another video of the Electro 3 with the organ action, and you actually had to take the whole keyboard assembly out, and you had to disconnect the ribbon wires and stuff like that. You do not need to do that. This whole process is maybe 15 minutes top to bottom, if you've got the right tools, which is pretty simple to have. So once this is lifted up, I'm going to try to situate my camera down, angle it down a little bit more. Okay, so once you take this keyboard and you lift this up like a hood, it'll just be sitting there up. And what you're going to see on these keys right here, every single one of these keys, just beyond the point at which you can see, they become really skinny. They become like a thin, kind of like this thing. I'm just using this as for demonstration purposes. They don't stay wide all the way back. Once it gets behind this red lip here, they become thin, and there's about an extra inch or inch and a quarter beyond what you can see. And it's sort of connected to this black monolithic support structure that encapsulates all of the keys and the circuit board and the contact strip and everything. And my biggest difficulty was I couldn't figure out how to get the keys off so that I can get to the contact strip. And it's actually unbelievably simple. So what you'll do is, so this green piece right here is simulating the extension of one of the keys. They all have this same skinny extension. And then this piece of paper right here is representing a hard plastic edge to the form that's holding all of this together on the inside. And all you'll do is take a screwdriver. I only have a super small one, which is nowhere near big enough. You need a full size one. But you're just going to stick a screwdriver in there, and you're just going to pry this up. You're going to let the screwdriver rest on the top of this, and you're just going to very gently pry the key up, and then it just pops loose. And that's it. And that's the design of it. There aren't any other buttons that you need to press or anything that you need to get out of the way. The keys are designed to just pry and pop them up. This is the thing that you're trying to replace. Now on my keyboard, it was the G above middle C that went out. And as you can see, these strips right here are 1 octave, right? 12 of them. And this one went right here. So I just took all 12 of these keys out. Then I pulled this one off, and I put the new one on. Now when you order this, at least when I did, they come with 13. They have 1 extra one on the end. I have absolutely no idea why they do that. But I have to imagine maybe there's a good reason for it. And I just took a pair of scissors, and I literally just carefully cut it off. Now the other part of this, the other video that I watched about the Electro 3, which is an awesome video, by the way. If you have that type of keyboard that has the organ action, it's an awesome video. That guy did a great job. And unfortunately, for people with that type of keyboard, it's a lot harder. This one is very easy. But you can see on this contact strip, hopefully you can see it, there are these little tiny holes, and on the opposite side, on the back side, you can see there's these little, extensions or whatever, and they fit right inside little holes of exactly the same size on the circuit board itself, which will be very obvious to see. And this tool right here, hopefully you can see that. I'm looking at what the camera is seeing. This tool came with this kit right here, which is a kit for fixing Mac laptops and Mac minis and stuff like that. You don't need to get this kit, but I just want you to know that this tool worked perfectly for once this was laid down. Just gently pushing in each of these little tiny holes right here, it helped. It literally took me 30 seconds to get this entire thing seated back on the circuit board completely. It was very easy. So I would find, if you don't have one of these tools and you don't want to buy a Mac laptop fix-it kit, a very, very thin paper clip could work. You could even use a safety pin, which then I might just kind of grind down the point just a little bit, just rubbing it on a piece of concrete, or just gently tapping it on the end of a hammer or something, just to dull it a tiny bit, because this thing is not sharp enough to like poke you, but it is very, very tiny and pointy. And I do think that was why it works so well. So that's really it. That's all that you have to do. You lift the top, you pop the keys out, you put your new contact strip in, and then putting the keys back in is very intuitive. You just put the key back in its place, and you just, with your hands, you can just kind of push it back into place, and you just feel it snap right back on there very easily. And the job was very, very easy. Some of the other information that I want to give you, that's kind of everything. If you guys are all ready to do it, then that's all you really need to know. But I just wanted to say, the other video on repairing the Electro 3 that guy did, that really great video, might be worth watching the section where he's actually changing this out, so you can get a sense of, how to carefully remove this from the circuit board and how to, put it back in. He's using a mechanical pencil, and he says it's the hardest part of the job for him is getting this to seat back in. And I think it's because the mechanical pencil is a little bit wider on the end than this tool. And I think this tool kind of stretches the bottom of this and just makes it a little bit thinner in just the right way, because I did not have to push down very hard at all. I was like just very gently pushing it in, and all of these little things just went right in. It was literally 30 seconds and it was seated perfectly flat on the circuit board. There is only one way, there's only one correct way to put this in. So make sure, if you look at these holes on here, they are not identical. One of them looks different than the other. One of them has a smaller indentation in the center. Just make sure that you look at how the other ones are on and you put this one in the same way. The other thing I would say is the other guy said this as well, don't use an electric screwdriver, because if you strip the head of the nut of the screw, or if you strip the inside or anything like that from a powerful screwdriver, it's not worth the few seconds that you would save by using it. And then, again, this one is easier than the Electro 3 because you don't need to take any wires off at all. There's going to be some ribbon wires that are attached to this circuit board when you flip this up. Just make sure you flip this up nice and slowly so that those ribbon wires don't accidentally have too much tension on them. But with this thing facing straight up, they should not have too much tension. And you don't have to take anything out. It's really a breeze to fix this thing. Now, the other guy, one of the things that he did is you can see on this contact strip how it's kind of divided into groupings of 4. Like right here, there's sort of a place that's clearly easy to just cut it and separate it into a group of 4. You cannot separate it into any less than 4, I don't think. Or at least I wouldn't. But, and I think what he was doing is he was just finding the area that was bad and just taking a grouping of 4 out and replacing it with a grouping of 4. I felt like because I was in the middle of the keyboard, where it's most likely to have a key die anyway, and I had a full contact strip of 12, I just replaced that entire contact strip because it was just from C to C. The contact strip was from C to C, and I just took the entire old one out. This is it. And you can actually see I marked it in red, which was the bad one, and I will keep this in case I'm in a jam and need to replace something in a hurry. All these other ones work fine. But if you can see on there, on the red one of those contacts does not look the same as all the other ones. All the other ones are just solid black. And then this one contact, for some reason, doesn't look the same. I don't know what happened to it, but that's why it's not working. So anyway, I hope this is helpful because I really had a hard time figuring out how to get the keys off. As simple as it is, it was not intuitive to me at all. And once I figured it out, I was like, maybe there's some other people that could use this information. So anyway, I hope if you choose to do it, that it goes really well for you and you get back to making some awesome music. So you guys take good care. Aloha.